You don't see where that curveball is coming right now. Nobody does. But at the end of the first growth learning curve, when you finally get to your profitable model and you know what you're doing, when you look back at that point where you know you have something that is consistently profitable and you know what you're looking for in the charts to find that, when you look back at that point, you will see what you have done to yourself that made it more difficult and longer than it needed to be. And you will have to take ownership of that. And I talk to you with this idea in mind because it's always us. It's always us. And nobody wants to be honest and tell you that shit, especially if they're selling mentorship courses, because it sounds like you're beating up your patrons, you're beating up your customers, and you want to make them be all hopped up and encouraged. Yeah, I have discussions with that too. But I look at you because I'm talking to my kids. I'm talking to you with the father role in mind. I want to see you do well. And I've fucked up a lot. And I've learned very, very expensive lessons that you can't get from these dollar mentorships. Okay. These fucking guys out there that just started this, you're not going to learn anything from them. You're not. There's nothing wrong with appreciating their approach to trying to do it on their own. There's nothing wrong with that. And if they want to pay a subscription based, fee to observe them doing that, okay, call it that. But don't call it a mentorship, because you're not really teaching anything. You're discovering yourself still, and you're fleecing people in their ignorance and their pursuit to try to get there faster. And I'm trying to be a voice of reason for people. I'm not 20 years old. I've been here for a while, and I've seen a lot of things, and I'm able to do a lot of things that most of these folks probably will never be able to do in their life. And the topics that matter most to traders' development are the boring ones. That's the foundation. Knowing where price is going to go, that's the first mystery that you have to solve in trading. Anybody that tells you that your job is not to try to predict price is a fucking moron. They're fucking stupid. They're a moron. They have no business trying to be a fucking educator. You have no business even speaking on the matter of trying to teach anybody. If you're trying to tell somebody that their job is not to try to predict price, when the whole fucking point of trading is predicting an entry point and hoping that you're right in the directional bias that you've entered on. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? What is it that you're doing? If you're not trying to predict the future fucking transaction of price going higher or lower and being positioned to profit from that, what the fuck do you call what you're doing? What is it? Because where I'm from, that's fucking gambling. It's fucking gambling. I am not a gambler. I'm looking in there. I said, okay, there's a real reason for the market to go up there. Why? There's a huge pool of liquidity in the form of buy stops. There's a huge pool of liquidity in the form of sell stops. It hasn't been there in recent times, and we have seen the other side of that liquidity matrix tapped multiple times, and it's not showing a willingness to want to go in that direction anymore. So what's it going to do? It's going to revert back to the opposing side of liquidity. Replaced with liquidity inefficiency. The same thing's happening. The mechanism for these price engines are going to be on the basis of two fucking things. Inefficiency above or below the marketplace, that's a fair value gap, or real gap. What's a real gap? Opening range gap, a new week opening gap, where there's no transactions made between two price points, or above old highs for buy side, or below old lows for sell side. That's it, folks. And once you understand what it is that you're looking for and reaching for, you can go into these moves and look at where points of entry can be made. And in the beginning, it's important for you to identify the fact that they don't have to be perfect. But you are expecting perfect in the beginning, and you can't obtain that. I can't deliver that to you. You are messing it up in the beginning. I messed it up. Everybody that ever learns from me in the future They're never gonna be, oh, if I did a 2024 or 2025, ICT comes out of fucking retirement. Boom, here it is. He was a liar. He's coming back and doing mentorships again. If that was to happen, and it's never gonna happen. In Jesus' name, I'm telling you, that is never happening. But if I were able to do that again, that batch of people that would come to me would not learn it faster, better. I wouldn't have another way of telling you these things. Would be the same things I would be telling them. But you're all asking me to open up a mentorship. I'm literally talking to you right here, unmonetized. I'm mentoring you right now, and you can't even identify it. You can't even recognize the fact that I'm mentoring you right now. But because you didn't pay me, you feel like you're not doing it, or it isn't happening. These are the things that you're supposed to learn. These are the things that you're supposed to be looking for. What's the point of you watching my videos or listening to me talk about it unless you're going to put it to practice? That's a terrible waste of time. If you're just listening to me and you're not doing anything with the things I'm telling you to focus on, train yourself, test, build a back testing log of journaled entries and exits and things that you studied in old hindsight moves. If you're not doing those things, you're wasting your time. And that's horrible. Why would you want to do that? Time is something that we don't get more of. And my time is fucking expensive. There's a whole lot of things I could be doing right now instead of talking to all of you. I'm not getting monetized for this. I'm not getting any reward for it, except for I know I'm talking to somebody. Somebody in this community right now that's hearing this. You may be listening to it in the future. You're not listening to it July 21st, 2023. But it's found you. You needed to hear these things. I can tell you this much. When I was 20, I needed to hear these things, but I didn't know that I needed to hear it then because I was worried about entries. These markets are absolutely professional. There's no tomfoolery in that. There's no brokers fucking with your spread. Okay. Everybody has the same price. Everybody has the same price when we're looking at the S&P. Everybody has the same price on NASDAQ, unless you're trading a CFD, which I don't do that. But I know some of you can't do it, and that's the only way you can do it. But you're met with that conundrum now, aren't you? You have to deal and factor in spread. So how do you overcome that fear? ICT, I'm worried about because, sometimes the data doesn't match. Right. Well, think about what I already said. You first start worrying about, well, no, I shouldn't say worry. You should concern yourself with where the market's likely to draw to. That is the absolute golden ticket. Because if you know how to do that, given enough time, you will find an entry model that you'll love taking. It makes perfect sense for you. It meets and agrees with your personality. No matter how much money I show I can make with one PD array or another, it won't matter to you. That's maturity. That means that you have found your model. You're not trying to leave what you found. You're now blooming where you're planted. That's the endeavor that all of you should be aspiring to do. That's what I'm trying to coach you all into doing. Not try to make you a master of everything I'm teaching. That's not going to happen. Okay. You need to find one that makes perfect sense to you. Warm up to it and spend some time with it. I promise you this, the folks that are willing to go through this like this, you're the ones that's going to do well. I know there's some of you that are pissing and moaning right now. I can hear you. You should have did this with a video. You know what? This would have been fun and interactive for me if someone did this for me. When I was coming up and doing this live and talk about all the, like, that would be fun. Before TV, it was everybody sat around a radio and they had to listen, and they used the imagination of character, development that was audibly shared in storytelling. But your mind could paint far better pictures than any Marvel movie would have done. This learning approach right here, it may not suit you right now, but it will force you to go into the charts instead of just Netflix and chill with ICT. That's not it. You got to go in and literally dissect everything that is available to you. And when you back test, you're going to do this anyway. So if you're against this, you're not going to learn how to do it. And every time I present something or produce something new, you're going to want to go to that and not spend the required time in what has been taught already, which is more than enough. You have way more than any one person would need to find profitability in trading any asset class, except crypto, because I can't co-sign for that one. But I have students that swear by it. So you have no real excuse not to engage it and study it and discover yourself. And don't rush it. Don't try to put a deadline on it. And if you do those types of things, I mentioned here today, you will avoid failing. You will lose money. You'll have periods of drawdown that you'll have to correct and get out of, like any other trading approach. You're going to have that. But the important thing is for you to realize that you're not going to lose hope. You're not going to lose sight of what it is you're doing, because the why, the thing that you're doing this for, has to be more than social media clout. It has to be more than something materialistic that you're aiming for. And there's no better real reason to do it than financial independence. And it may not be a complete financial independence. It may be a partial, where a certain measure of your monthly income is met by this. And to me, that is a win. That's not failure. Some of you might look at that and think, yeah, I was hoping I was going to be able to quit my job, but I just can't get past, $1,000 a month, a couple hundred hours a week. I just can't seem to do better than that. You're doing better than most people. If you can do that, you're doing most people often lose money. And if you can do any measure of consistency and you're able to take something out, like you're in the upper 10%. There's lots of room to go higher in that, but you already are defeating the odds that are against everybody, which is most people are going to fail doing this. And I can't guarantee that all of you are going to be successful. I work very, very hard. And I think it's obvious that I try very hard to help all of you do what's necessary and avoid the things that you should avoid. There's a small faction of individuals that are not willing to listen to what it is I'm doing or take odds with me. It's irrelevant. You see enough people finding success with it. They're doing very well with it. They're having fun while they're doing it. And that gives me a great deal of satisfaction, knowing that my last year doing all this stuff, I'm making the biggest impact. And I don't discount that at all. So I try to be very selective, even though on the live presentations you can see me swing, and you watched me and heard me swing from one end to the next. I try to keep that from you in the recorded presentations, because I know it can be a distraction and it can put off some individuals that, holier than thou. Oh, he said a cuss word. I don't want to say it. Sometimes it is to happen. I don't want to go off the rails. Sometimes you guys enjoy it. I don't like it. It's something I wish I didn't do. And in November, I'll never have that problem again. I've exposed myself in ways that I would have never been comfortable doing years ago. And I don't want to give the stage for, people with less character that want to make a mockery of it. I mean, they can't even do close to what I'm doing. So they focus on things like a child. And I've been encouraged by all of you who have given me the opportunity to be in your ear as a voice of reason and try to help you discover the opportunities that are available and what you can do with this information. And I'm very proud of the people that have done well and had the courage to come out and share what they've done. Some of them a little bit more brash than others. And I get it. Sometimes that needs to happen. But largely, most of you that have come out, you've been very responsible with your success. And I'm greatly, greatly impressed by that. Because when you make that kind of money, and you've never done that before, it can make you feel like your shit doesn't stink and you're better than everybody else. And that's the trap I fell into. when I was younger. When I was a 20-year-old, I felt like I owned the world and everybody owed me an attaboy. And they don't. And my encouragement to you is, while trying to avoid failure, you should be absolutely working towards being a responsible, profitable individual. So if you're going to be on social media, try to do your best to be as respectful as possible to the audience members. It's easy to get caught up in your own horseshit, the spectacle, the showmanship, or the handling of trolls. I wish I had better ways of doing it. I've never been that refined about it, but I have done very well this year compared to previous years. But it's because I want to go out on a better note. I spent a lot of time in my earlier years on social media being a menace, and I wanted to close that year of final teaching in a way like that too, but I don't need to. My students are actually providing the best testimony there is, and I've shared my life's work with you, and you were not in any position to be entitled to receive it. I've seen some stories from people that have tried and failed, and those individuals, they stick with me, and I take their testimonies and I try to fortify any new lessons to try to overcome what they mentioned were barriers for them. It doesn't change or remove the influence that we have individually over our trading. That's it. Like, you own it. Like, whatever the results are, good or bad, they're yours, and you earned them on both ends of that spectrum. When you're doing this, it's one of the most difficult things in the world to do, because it's highly technical. It's always evolving. Risk is always there, and you're dealing with yourself. And if you make it harder by allowing other people into the experience, whether it be your family members, your social media friends, or other people, it compounds the difficulty. So I try to coach you and remind you that you don't need to make this an Olympic feat. You don't need to be a Truman Show experience where people get to watch everything that you do, failing, falling on your face, finding yourself making money, doing withdrawals, resetting your accounts, all that stuff. You're inviting much more that's necessary, or even what should be even considered. It's bad enough, trying to find yourself in this and weed out all the problem things that you're going to have as a trader, because we all have them. And I've been open with you. I have things that I can't overcome, even as a believer. Yes, I know God can say it's gone and I don't have it, but for whatever reason, it stays with me. So it's not easy for me to be a mentor. It's not. It's very, very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever done, because I have so many people around the world that have expectations of me, high regard for me, and I'm trying to do my best. And even though I may do a really good lesson, and I may read your comments, and I see all your comments on the YouTube channels,